Now, recognize the gentlelady from Massachusetts, Ms. Tsongas, for 5 minutes to explain the minority position on this bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. H.R. 2231 was introduced just 8 days ago. The legislative hearing on the bill was completed less than 24 hours ago. The short notice provided by the majority for legislative hearings on this bill has prevented us from even receiving testimony from the Interior Department on this legislation. Why are we ramming this bill through our committee? What pressing needs are my colleagues across the aisle clamoring to address with this legislation? Well, none really. This is part of the same drill baby drill playbook the majority rolls out every year. Each summer, as Americans rush to our beaches for fun and relaxation, my colleagues across the aisle rush ill-conceived legislation to the House floor to open those same beaches and coastlines to unsafe oil drilling. The bill we're considering would allow big oil to put drilling rigs off our beaches in California and every state on the East Coast from Maine to South Carolina. It would require drilling in important fisheries and sensitive environments like Bristol Bay in Alaska and the Arctic Ocean, all without enacting key drilling safety reforms following the BP Deepwater Horizon disaster. H.R. 2231 is bad policy worked through a bad process, all so that this bill can enjoy the same fate as the many irresponsible drilling bills the majority has rammed through this committee over the last 2.5 years. After rushing this bill to the House floor in the coming weeks, it will head over to the Senate where it will be dead on arrival. We need to legislate based on facts and science. We need to legislate based on reality. And the reality is that domestic oil production is at a 20-year high and natural gas production is at an all-time high. The reality is that domestic production is already projected to keep rising without any of the policy changes in H.R. 2231 that would threaten our tourism and fishing industries and the environment in coastal states. In fact, here's what the International Energy Agency said last month, quote, "The supply shock created by a surge in North American oil production will be as transformative to the market over the next 5 years as was the rise of Chinese demand over the last 15, unquote. That's where we're headed. We're likely to surpass Saudi Arabia as the world's largest oil producer in just 7 years. That is projected to happen under President Obama without this or any other Republican drilling legislation. Now is our opportunity to enhance drilling safety, not weaken it. We should be making sure that the current oil production boom occurs in a manner that protects workers, coastal communities, and the environment. Democrats will offer amendments today to make sure that we don't go back to putting speed above safety in offshore drilling. We'll give members the opportunity once again to adopt the bipartisan recommendations of the BP Spill Commission. Just yesterday, we received testimony from a former member of the Spill Commission who called once again for us to enact key safety reforms that only Congress can address. This committee should take action to immediately implement these reforms. And Democrats will offer amendments to protect coastal states and their economies from the massive expansion of unsafe drilling included in this bill, including Georges Bank off my state of Massachusetts. I look forward to this debate and yield back the balance of my time.
Gentlelady yields back her time. Is there further discussion on the